Hi crafters, this is Raquel with Paints and Glitter, and today I am going to share with you a tutorial on how to make this style of card. This is called a peekaboo card, and I did share this in a previous video for Tonic Studios, sharing with you the Under the Sea collection, and that's what I've used to create all of the elements that you see here. And this was requested by one of my subscribers, so I wanted to come along. And the first thing that I want to say is that it was not my original design. This I got from Norma at Splitcoast Stampers. The video is about 8 years old, but you can still refer to it if you like. You're going to need 3 pieces of cardstock, one of them cut at 5.5 by 8 1/4 inches. You're going to be scoring this one at 2 3/4 inches. Let's set that aside for a moment. The next one is 5.5 by 8.5 inches. You're going to be scoring this one along the long side, right in the middle at 4 1/4. And then the third piece of card that you'll need is 5.5 by 5 3/4, scored along the long side at 5.5. So let's start with that first piece that I mentioned. So again, this is 5.5 by 8 1/4. You're going to be scoring this at 2 3/4. And fold that nicely. Burnish this. Okay, so let's set that aside for a moment. The next piece of paper is 5.5 tall by 8.5 wide. You're going to score this one right in the middle at 4 1/4. Make sure that these edges meet nicely. Your 5.5 by 5 3/4 inch paper and score this at 5.5. Alternately, of course, you could score it at 1/4 inch, but go ahead and fold that and burnish. Give you a little 1/4 inch tab there. Now you can take some panels of decorative cardstock, whichever one you like, of course, to layer on top. On that long panel that you scored at 2 3/4, you're going to decorate this. This is going to be the front of your card. This panel is 5 3/8 inches square, so go ahead and adhere that. You're going to decorate by placing the decorative pieces of cardstock right up on top, and these measure 5 3/8 inches tall by 4 1/8 inch wide. I'm actually going to do this way. Set that aside. Just go ahead and score it like so. Okay, going back to this panel that you have with the little side that's 2 3/4 inches wide, you're going to flip this over and you're going to take a die that will fit in this area here and will not overlap. So you're going to be mindful of how wide it is. And for this, what I've done is that I selected this shape here. It's a little seashell, and I'm just going to place it so that it barely overlaps here. You can try to line this up depending on the height that you want, and that's of course going to be determined on how you want to decorate this. But go ahead and then place your low tack adhesive on here. And you're going to run this through your die cutting machine. So now I'm just going to open it like that and die cut this. Low tack adhesive is wonderful because it won't rip into your paper, but you now have a shape that looks like that. You're going to go ahead and fold it over. If it bothers you to see that little tiny line there, if the paper just so happens to be too wide, you can cut off that tiny little slit. That's what I'm going to do. It's going to be maybe a 1/16 of an inch. Just a little bit. And that's what I'm doing. It's just literally a little thread there of paper. And that's just so it doesn't show up here. You're now going to take the panel that you just cut out and you're going to match it with the other one. Make the pretty paper fold in and match the open end to the open end and the fold with the fold. However, you're going to bring it all the way up to the edge here. Okay. Then, holding it, you're going to flip it over. Okay. Have it all the way to the edge there. And now you're going to take a pencil and you're going to trace the edge here. Just like so. And you're now going to line this up with that line that you just traced out. And you're going to tack that down and then run this through your die cut machine again. Just like so. You should have something that looks like this. And you can now take this piece away as well. And this should have cut right through. And if it did not cut through the second part here completely, just follow what's already cut or the indentation and line up your die one more time. And then just press your tape right on there and cut this piece as well through. You can also remove this very easily, just like so. You can reuse the low tack tape. And this is the smallest seashell from the Under the Sea Shakers and Sentiments die set. So using the one that couples with it, it's slightly larger. You can go ahead and create little shapes that you can use to frame these pieces out. So what I did is that I used the largest die first. I cut my cardstock and then I layered the smaller one on top, and that created some little frames that I have here. They happen to be in this pink cardstock. And what I'm going to do is that I'm going to place them here as my little frames. One here, and one on the front of my card. So that'll fit right there. It's going to give it a nice pretty finish. However, because there's a very light pink, I'm going to first give this a little bit of shimmer. So I'm going with an Aquaflow pen that I have and I tend to use very often. All it has is a little bit of shine, and this is called Glitter Gloss. And I'm just going to go around that edge with this. Once these are nicely placed, you can then take that piece that you had cut out that had the two frames, fold it over, and you're going to now place this right behind this cover, okay? You're going to line it up again, and now you're going to adhere it. So place adhesive all on this panel. You now have that third panel, and this is the one that's going to face the back of your card. So you're going to flip this over, and this 1/4 inch fold is going to go right toward that edge. So you can place your glue here. And I like to take my edge here and just pinch the corners together first, making sure that makes full contact. And once I have that where I need it, I can then press the rest of this paper and burnish it. Making sure that it looks nice on both sides. Now I'm going to have a card that looks like this, and when you hold it and open it, it's going to have that feature there that slides. So to decorate this, of course, you need your sentiment or your focal point back here, and to do so, what you can do is open this fully and use your little aperture as your guide. If you want to, you can place one of the pieces that were left over from all of your die cutting and just kind of place it here and move it around until you're happy with it. And take advantage of that low-tack tape and just place it right here. So you're just using this as a little bit of a guide. You can flip your card over and then place your glue on the back of this piece of paper. And of course here you can then close this, apply your pressure, flip it over, and burnish it a little bit more just to make sure there's contact being made there. Okay, and that should now adhere precisely where you need it. You can also decorate this back here. I had colored and cut this little mermaid, and I thought she would look really cute here, so I'm going to make her the focal point, even though she won't show entirely, but you get the point that it's a, you know, little bit of a cutesy image that reminds you of the ocean. So I'm just going to place that right here. And this is a gorgeous girl. I happen to have her in my stash for years. Figured I should use it. So I'm going to fold this over now, and you get to see how she looks in there. Super cute. But of course there's going to be that little element of surprise when you open the card. I thought it would be cute to use one of the little seashells that I cut out of the paper as a background to the sentiment that I'm going to be adding to it. So I've got a little bit of Panama Rose ink here, and I'm just going to go around the edges of this die cut, again just to add a little bit of depth. Pink and yellow always look really pretty together, and of course you can do this with any kind of color combination that you prefer. And once that's nicely colored, I'm also going to just color this outline with that same glimmer pen again, just adding a little bit of shine here for interest. And make sure my card is fully open now this way, and then place my die cut here so that I can line it up with that opening, and making sure that it's right behind this. That looks pretty good. I can now just hold it with my finger right behind there and open this. If you need to put some little tack marks there or tick marks, you can do that, or you can do as I'm going to do, which is just to place some glue behind one half of it, press it down, and you want to make sure that it doesn't overlap on that one edge. And then put a little bit more glue on this other end. And now, of course, the sentiment needs to go here. And you can use the grid on the mat that you have, if you have one, just to make sure that it's nice and straight. I just tend to pick one line there. And I know that this shell, for the most part, is going to show through the front. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue this down. And I'm using this line here for a reference. And I want this to show here, and I think it's going to be pretty obvious that it says Fantastic with an F. So I'm going to put it right there. And now I can close this piece here, close the back of my card, and flip it over. I'm still seeing that cute little mermaid. And I can decorate the front of my card any which way that I like. I have already used the cutouts that were remaining, and I decorated these with some little sequins, but I also used this other little die cut, and this one is from the Sassy Seashell collection. I thought that would look really cute on the front of my card, so I'm going to go ahead and use that. And because this is facing that way, I'm going to stagger this one as well as the second one. And of course, you could keep adding shine to this however you like. I think it looks really pretty already. Use a blue just because of the mermaid's tail being blue, and that's going to kind of save my card a little bit here. So I'm just going to go around those little pieces that we're showing here, and I'm just going to color them in blue, and we're going to call this an embellishment opportunity. So sometimes you have to do these things, and I'm going to go right along here. On all those little pieces that are showing. But of course, if you line them up perfectly, you don't have to worry about this, or if you just use a pencil line. Just make sure that you give this time to dry, and I'm going to go right in there. Okay, so it's going to look like it's part of the design now. Okay, and of course I could stagger another dark blue piece over here, or even take one of these and line it up back here, and then give myself a little bit of a blue edge here just to make it match, because I want that to be all cohesive. And I'm just sandwiching that right behind it. I think lemon drizzle is going to be just fine. I'm just going to kind of stagger what I already colored here. And I know this is a lot of shine, but it's going to blend together really nicely here. give me the look that I'm going for also. Okay, so I'm going to do that. And I had already placed the sequins on here, so it's going to kind of match the sequins that I picked out as well. So there's that. I think it gives it a cute little look there. And for the inside of my card, which is going to have the sentiment here, "You're fantastic," I'm going to place those little tails that I mentioned earlier, just like that. I think they're so pretty. And of course you could put different colored papers right behind. And if you use double-sided adhesive, you can even leave all those little shiny bits inside of the tail. You don't have to take them out if you don't want to. And this is again from the Sassy Seashell collection that Tonic Studios released. I just thought it complemented each other very nicely. And you're going to notice one of these has a thinner edge than the other. I cut it a little bit close to the edge of the paper, so I just cut down the entire edge all the way around because I didn't want to let that go to waste. And I'm going to put this one like that. Press down nicely. And you always want to wipe down mirror card, just in case. All right. So these are the results of my card. I had to improvise a tiny bit there by using a marker, but I think you get the idea of how this works. It opens by allowing that piece of paper to slip forward and gives you that sentiment, and then of course when it's closed you have your cute little image, whichever it may be, and you can definitely decorate the outer portion here a lot more, but you still have plenty of opportunity here to continue decorating on the inside, so long as you don't add too much bulk toward that fold. And yeah, that completes my video. I hope that you have enjoyed this tutorial, that it's been useful to you, and of course I leave my mistakes so that you can see that we all make them. But I hope that you can be inspired and be blessed, and I thank you so much for watching. Don't forget that my affiliate codes for any of the products that I mentioned will be in the description bar of this video, and I do appreciate your support by using them. And yeah, hope to see you in my next video. Bye bye.